Okay, in today's video, I'll be doing my experience on where I got snitched on. So let's get right into the story here. So pretty much this happened around the last semester of my fall class. This was my Friday class too, where I only had one class that was child development, and it was from 5 to 10. And this is my first time taking a class at night. And usually, for these kind of classes, I would arrive around like 3 p.m. because classes start at 5 or maybe 4 sometimes. But I would get there enough so that, I wouldn't be too late. And on this one time, I usually like to, like walk around and listen to music and, just kind of, relax and take it easy and whatnot. And for some other reason, on that particular Friday, I decided to visit one of my English classes that I've taken in the past, just because why not? And I don't know why I decided to, go that kind of route. Maybe I just kind of got bored of, visiting my usual places. Because for me, I kind of have like a little bit of a set routine, so I kind of like to visit every place that I like to go to. But anyways, I digress. Um, So pretty much on this Friday, I decided to visit one of my English classes, and I didn't really think much of it because it was Friday. There were not that many people, and I thought, hey, let's just explore this building that I've been to many times and see if there's anyone there or not. And this building was pretty big, I would say. There was around like maybe five stairs or five floors, and yeah, I mean, as I was walking, I didn't see that much people, so I was like, oh, maybe nothing's gonna happen. Maybe I'm just gonna walk through, the first and fifth building, or the first building to the fifth building, and not expect much. As I was making my way towards the fourth building, I noticed that, going into the fifth building, there were a few doors open, and I was sort of curious. I was like, why are doors open at this time? Because usually, there's no one here. And upon entering the fifth building, I noticed that there were like this little messages like "oh, green team" or some cringy shit like this, and I was like, okay, they must be playing a game or something. And so therefore, I decided to inquire more information about this because I was very curious, of course. And usually, I don't, trespass into people's territory, especially if there's like a authority or a guardian involved. But judging from the story that I'm about to tell you in a bit, there are no professors present or no one to really babysit them. So I thought, hey, why not let me in? Because why not? And so the first experience that I had with these kind of groups was very, very sort of confusing at first because they thought I was like a spy or they didn't know why I was trespassing their territory. And I kind of made my point. I said that, oh, I was just sort of like curious and I was sort of interested on what you guys were doing and whatnot. I was sort of like just curious in general on why the doors open, and they said that they were playing some sort of game along with some other students, and they had to have the door open or some shit like that. And after like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, I kind of left because I felt a bit of awkwardness and a bit of uncertainty. Like I kind of felt like people were giving me a bit of dirty looks or something, but I think I had a better experience with this group. Now, with my other group, which I decided to go to after like maybe 2 minutes, and that was actually right across the corner from the first group that I visited too. With this group, I went in, same expectations, this group was called a yellow team or some shit like that. And I went there, I kind of chatted for a bit. And at that particular point, while I was talking to some people, and they were asking me the same shit too, like, oh, are you a spy for the blah blah team? Or, oh, like, what are you doing here? And I kind of told them that, the same shit. At that point in time, as I was talking to one of the group mates on, how the game works and whatnot, I noticed that someone left the room, and I didn't think much of it. But unfortunately, that person, I think it was a girl or something, he or she or they kind of snitched me out. Because as I was preoccupied with talking to someone, I guess, they decided to panic or something, and they just called the cops me, and I was very, very pissed off. I was like, well, why can't you, confront me one on one? And I think during that time too, I saw another person left as well. I think this time was a boy, and I guess they were getting someone to, to I guess speak up for them because they were all kind of scared or some shit like that. And to me, I thought this was very, very childish because, we're in college now, and the fact that number one, you're going to call the cops over something this petty is absurd and immature. And number two, the fact that you would have someone else speak for you is very, very sad. It shows that you're kind of a pussy, to be honest. But I guess people would be saying like, oh, like I guess you're immature because you're trespassing into people's property and blah blah, and you should sort of expect these things. And I go, maybe I should have thought a bit more clearly, but when I have to wait fucking 1 to 2 hours for a class, I think that drives anybody insane, especially on a Friday. So after that sort of bit of miscommunication there, one of the teammates from the other team, they kind of told me like, hey, the cops are coming or whatever, and I suggest you leave. And I was like, okay, I might as well just leave right now because, my class was going to start soon and I didn't want to, get in trouble or ruin my reputation at my community college. So I guess that ends the story there, but not really because I had class on Saturday too. So, and also the interesting thing that I forgot to tell you guys was that this is sort of those very, very rare classes where, they would where the class would pretty much be like they have 2 days of class and it would be like maybe 4 to 5 hours. So it was those sort of interesting classes that I've never taken before, nor will I ever. So, anyways, coming into this mindset of Friday, I kind of told my friend, I kind of told my mom, and they were just kind of like very confused because maybe they didn't expect this out of me or some shit like that. But anyways, I went back on a Saturday and I quickly went to that that building that I went to, and right away, the doors open. But then as soon as they saw me, one of the group mates was outside, and then I guess someone else they quickly noticed me. And they're like, "Oh shit, it's that guy again." And then they said like, and then I think they said like, "Oh, quick, close the door." And then the other girl kind of childishly like closed the door, and I guess to them this was all like a big little joke to them or some shit like that. And then I just kind of walked past, I didn't really think much of it too, to be honest. Um, and then actually, I forgot to mention also that yesterday on Friday or for Friday, there was no teacher present. However, as I was walking through, I saw like a little table with like a bunch of supplies, which I presume to be the professor's desk or something like that. And guess what? On Saturday, the professor was actually here, and she was giving me very, very dirty looks. Like I could just notice it right off the spot. And I was walking towards the end of the corridor here. I kind of noticed the guy that kind of told me that hey, the cops were coming from yesterday. And he quickly, kind of opened the door and we kind of chatted briefly. And I guess his little entourage, like his little friend, came in too. And I just kind of told him that, hey, like I didn't mean to do this. I was just bored. Like I kind of proclaimed my innocence. And then they were like, oh, like, oh, because you were being like very uncomfortable, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I won't do it again and whatnot. And I guess to be honest, this is a very, very like fitting fairy tale. Like, oh, like some weird person, trespasses a community and then it takes one hero, to like fucking get rid of the stranger. It makes a very, very interesting story. And to the person that snitched and called cops on me, I believe this is their biggest accomplishment yet because this is so immature of them to call the cops on me. And I'm like, what were they gonna do? And one more thing too, like as I was making my way down from the stairs from the fifth floor on Friday, I noticed that the cops were coming by and they were walking by so nonchalantly, like they didn't even give a shit. And as I made my way downstairs to the first floor, I noticed there was like a little golf cart with two little cops that were giving me dirty looks as per usual. And I guess, the story ended because I kind of told them that, I wanted to make an apology on Saturday, but I guess they were too immature as well, too, to, accept my apology. So then I kind of told them to, hey, can you, like, tell them that, I apologize for, Friday's mistakes and whatnot. And I guess, they adhered to my request, and yeah, things pretty much ended after that, and I guess that was my little run in with the laws. However, to be honest, had I waited on Friday for them to, confront me, I didn't think they would do shit to me, to be honest, because it was such a petty crime. I didn't really hurt anybody. I just caused a bit of disturbance, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Like I didn't break into someone's fucking car or assault someone or, do anything that would, land me in trouble with the cops. It was just a very, very petty crime. So with that being said, thank you for watching another one of my storytime videos, and hopefully I'll do more in the future. But if not, I'll stick to more of the usual, I guess.